Hey guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. For this week's episode, Megan and I thought it'd be time to do a good old-fashioned Q&A.
So we asked you guys to send us questions. I haven't even looked at any of them yet, so hopefully you guys had some good ones. It's basically a free-for-all whenever we do any of these, so we'll see what you guys wanted to know.
We'll see if anyone has any new interesting questions. I feel like we get a lot of the same ones, which, I don't mind going over. But I hope there's some creativity with this one.
Yeah. Before we do any of that, we're going to just talk about any highlights, any spotlights from the past week since we recorded, and we'll do a little book update since
my book update is nothing.
Still struggling through your book.
I'm still reading Demon Copperhead. I got over the 200-page mark. I might need to start buddy reading. I think I used that phrase wrong. I think buddy reading is supposed to be when you and a friend are reading a book. And a tandem read is when you're reading two books at the same time.
Yeah.
So I may need to start tandem reading.
I feel like I wouldn't use tandem read unless it's for a series.
Well, I need to read two books at the same time because right now my Goodreads says I'm one book behind schedule. And so I don't want to DNF Demon Copperhead, but I feel like I'm reading it very slowly. So I was going to maybe start Beach Read at some point.
You already know it's a 5-star book for you.
Yeah.
I finally finished Fourth Wing. It took me a week and a half to get through, which it wasn't bad. I wasn't ever dragging through the mud to read it. It just was there were some nights where I wasn't dying to read it, and I didn't get myself around to reading it.
It's very much an even 4 stars.
Yeah.
I'm
give it 4
surprised
stars
at the hype.
I don't know if, to me it's almost hard to imagine getting a 5-star feeling from a fantasy book. Maybe it's maybe that's a me thing, and maybe it just I'm enjoying fantasy. I have heard because I follow Catherine Mueller, and I know everyone is reading Iron Flame because it just came out. But I follow Catherine Mueller, and she's a fitness person and also a dentist, and she had read Fourth Wing, gave it 4 stars, and then was talking about how Iron Flame, she knows Fourth Wing is a 4-star book because Iron Flame was a 5-star book. So in a way, maybe, and I've heard everyone is raving about the second book in the series. So
we went to Barnes & Noble. I went to Barnes & Noble twice, not specifically looking for Iron Flame, but I was if it's out, I'll see it.
And all they have are the new edition.
And there was nothing
Wings.
there, which was weird because I then went to the Barnes & Noble website and was looking stuff up, and it said it was in store but not available for pickup. So I was do I have to go ask for it?
Yeah.
Where is it at?
So I'm sure eventually we will get around to reading that book, but just not now, and probably wait till it's available in stores.
Fourth Wing, 4 stars.
Yeah. And that's not bad. That's perfectly good. I was trying to think to myself, I was what do I think versus for ACOTAR versus Fourth Wing? I'm 2 books in on ACOTAR. Obviously, I've only read Fourth Wing, the first book, and I'm what one do I like more? Because every book so far has just been 4 stars for me. This could sway and change because initially when I was kind of taking a little bit longer to get through Fourth Wing than I was envisioning, I was kind of I think I like ACOTAR more, and I just liked the characters and the couple in it more because I felt it was kind of dragging out in Fourth Wing a little more than I was expecting it to. And then towards the end, I felt Fourth Wing picked up a lot. So now I'm still left in a now I'm not sure kind of category. I will say fan art wise, Recent has my heart. Recent, I don't know how you say his name.
It's so funny. I hope if you guys have read Fourth Wing, you know what I'm talking about. But there's this thing at the beginning of the book called the parapet, and when you're reading it, you're what is this?
I was just kind of envisioning a narrow,
which is what I was envisioning, which is essentially what it is. But I was who uses this word? Why would you choose to use this word?
And then because until I started reading fantasy, I never was looking up fan art and stuff or anything like that. But then when I was reading these books, I feel my TikTok would reinforce it knew I was reading these books, and so stuff would start popping up on my TikTok page that would be fan art or something else, or jokes regarding the book or what have you. And then I kind of that's how I was there's fan art. So yesterday when I was finishing Fourth Wing, I was looking up what do these look like? What are they supposed to look like in theory? Because it was kind of hard to picture when I was reading the book. And I'm just it's kind of a fun thing to be able to do and see what people interpret the world as. So I am next.
As far as highlights or spotlights, that was more of our book update.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to read Caught Up by Liz Tomford next on my Kindle. That's my next book.
I need to start getting some short and sweet reads in. Weekly spotlight. what happened this past
It was kind of a
week.
We didn't do a lot this weekend.
No. I had a crazy busy work week last week, so I feel like we didn't really do much.
Yeah. Well, you worked on Saturday, and
I got my hours in.
Yeah.
Corporate machine. Just another cog.
Iowa football won, and that was good. The Bengals lost, although I didn't watch that game. I can
Let's
update
just
you
talk
guys.
about our anticipatory spotlight. Megan and I are going to trivia tonight.
I'm excited about it because, since getting Vegas, we haven't. We've gone to, there's, a place that's, a dog-focused place around here that, technically has a trivia night. But, we went to it mostly just to, have Vegas, out and around other dogs and get us out of the house. And it just wasn't really, that was not, a good trivia night.
I would say it was a bad trivia. Bad trivia night.
Yeah.
We weren't even really doing it.
No. It was no. Here's the thing. It was, impossible trivia. I didn't love the setup, and, that's kind of part of it might have just been, we're trying to watch our dog, and then also, because they have people there working that, are technically watching everyone's dogs. But, I would feel kind of bad if my dog was, being annoying to someone else or, causing issues, and I wasn't there to, step in. But some people, just go into, the restaurant part, and, they were doing trivia. But we were kind of, we could hear what they were doing most of the time.
Yeah, and it was 20 million rounds of, 8 questions or something.
Yeah. It was, way too quick. It just wasn't good. So we're looking forward to, a well-thought-out, good Sporkle trivia.
We're going back to Sporkle trivia. I miss it so much. It's been, 3 months since we've done Sporkle trivia.
So that's exciting. I can update you guys because I promised I would on my date that I went on. We went to a brewery and just did dinner. And it was all good and fine. It wasn't a bad date. We're still kind of chatting a little bit, and we might go on a second date.
This is where we meet the age-old question.
Yeah. I was kind of I'll pose the question to you guys, okay? Because I feel like it's different when, especially if you're a fellow dating app user and, you're trying to, you're open to going on dates via apps versus, meeting people in real life. It's hard because, you're not developing this crush-like feeling on someone before you go on a date versus, if you start dating someone in high school or even college and you're around them all the time. Just,
if you meet someone before you go on a date with them, you've already, probably built up a crush on them. You've interacted with them. You have some sort of feeling towards them without, the initial thought being, what if we date? Versus a dating app, it's hey, should we go on a date?
My thoughts upon leaving the date was just kind of, I'm not really sure how I should be feeling right now. And if it's, I was already kind of it's not reasonable really for me to kind of be this isn't going to work. Because I feel if I keep going to every date with the mindset of, I'm waiting for that feeling.
Did you feel different with this date compared to that other date that you went on?
I was actually, so my other date that I went on, I felt I met that person, not this most recent date, the one before. And, I kind of got, the ick right away. As bad as it sounds. And so, I kind of knew, immediately, I was there's no saving this.
But you didn't get the ick with this second guy.
Yeah.
You're just
so maybe that's, the
extra.
first step.
The first step is the lack of the ick.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's not really, there's nothing else to share.
Yeah.
It was a pretty casual, simple first date. So, anywho, any other exciting events, upcoming things we're doing?
No, not that I can.
Anyways, if we didn't fully finish forming my question, is if you guys have had experience with that, have you ever gone on a dating app date and then you met the person, you're I feel something for them. I have a crush on them. Or,
imagine leaving a date and you're you leave and you're I have a crush on this person.
Or some people, even I've heard people with dating app dates, the first or second date, they leave and they're kind of that's my wife or that's my husband. And I'm just
I could never.
The thought of
imagine
saying that or being able to do that is not something that makes sense to me. But okay, I'm gonna start pulling up some questions. Ciera, do you want to start on the top or the bottom of the Q&A thing?
I'll start on the top.
You can start first because I'm still pulling it up.
Oh, I have to just pull it up too.
Okay, actually, someone sent a DM, so I'll start with that one. Someone said, is there anything that is in medical/PT practice that you think that we'll look back at in 20 years and be shocked that we did?
I feel like ultrasound or just like some of the modalities are already kind of outdated, but still just like utilized because you can get reimbursed for it. And like the science is technically there. I don't know. Science is in or out. People are like, science doesn't support this.
Yeah.
Research does or doesn't support it. Some patients just like it. And sometimes if people are not willing to actively do anything, it's like the only passive thing that you can do with someone and still get paid for it. But I personally, like, I have used it. I don't always feel like it makes a big difference. I haven't used it since graduating.
Yeah, I haven't used, like, ultrasound specifically. I haven't used since graduating. I don't really feel like there's a lot of evidence for it. But like Ciera said, like, there's more things than just, honestly, like, evidence alone. Like, evidence-based practice is technically evidence with clinician and patient, like, everything together. And so you have to take into consideration, like, patient preference, all of that. So I don't think it's wrong to use, but I also am kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if research ends up like becoming so overwhelming that like it doesn't end up getting reimbursed eventually, and then like, okay, now there is no point in doing it. I haven't had the opportunity to like use it a lot, but I think TENS and like electrical stimulation has like a really good therapeutic value, although I haven't had like a lot of reason to use it. I feel like medical practice, like there's probably more things you could think of, but like I am not of the expertise to know what that would be.
Yeah.
So, you know what's interesting? This is more so just like its own little thought bubble. But like, you know how there's people that like are naturopathic doctors that like go and graduate from like whatever the heck naturopathic programs are, but like they're not really like medical doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I was like going down like a little rabbit hole not that long ago, and there's also something like there's a different kind of certification people can get to be called like functional medicine providers. They're usually chiropractors, but not always. And like then like they start being able to like refer to themselves as like, oh, I'm like a functional medicine doctor or practitioner.
Anytime I see someone who calls themselves a doctor, I'm like, how exactly are you?
And like
doctor?
they're not like saying like what exactly they
They
are.
don't say like MD or DO. Then you're like, well, what kind of doctor are you? Then sometimes you look a little deeper.
Yeah. Anyways, I was kind of going down this thought, and it's kind of like I think these are probably like both of them can probably technically have a place, but I think that what can be troubling about someone who poses themselves as being like a kind of like holistic practitioner or like a functional medicine doctor or practitioner is the issue is that means if someone like, yes, you can like give someone tips on like this is how you like start healthy and like try to stay healthy and all of that, but at the end of the day, if someone comes in with a medical problem, you need a medical provider to be able to run said tests that need to be run and provide treatment and medications that need to be provided for that. So that was like something where I was going through and like seeing, I was like on someone's page because I was like ended up on like an Iowa functional medicine practitioner page, and I was like, what really are you like? What are you doing? Because it was like a chiropractor, but like they're not really doing like chiropractic care. They're acting like they're a freaking doctor. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like none of it's illegal really, because it's like, oh, like I help with nutrition, or like they can still do chiropractic stuff. But I was just like, well, what if someone comes in, you're their primary care practitioner, and they're like, I have a cough, and
we can fix that.
Yeah. Anyways, I was just like, I feel like these are two different things. That was a side tangent, but nonetheless.
Someone said, weirdest comment you ever got on a video or post. This probably isn't like the weirdest one, but I frequently go back to, there's two comments I think that I can think of, both related to the fact that I have shorter hair than Megan.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about something else.
Well, then you can bring that one up, I guess. One, I literally remember what video this one was posted on. On our Christmas wish list video, I think from 2021, when we were in our apartment in Iowa City. It was just like a sit-down video. Megan has longer hair, and I have shorter hair. And we're both, styled, looking cute, both of us. And one of the comments was, seeing, essentially, this is, paraphrasing. What if I say it like verbatim? It's clearly not stuck in my head or anything. Seeing essentially the same woman with both short and long hair reaffirms my love for women with long hair. I was like, no one asked.
Yeah.
And then a second comment that I saw, I think this was on a YouTube comment, I can't remember. And this was funny because it was like, again, related to me having short hair. I understand that, like, in general, and it's always men that comments this, like, are we surprised? In general, like, men always say they prefer, like, women with longer hair. Although I would argue when most men think of long hair, like, they just don't want it, like, you know, bob style. Many men would still call my hair, like, long, because they have, like, no...
They have no thoughts.
They have no scope of, like, length of hair, except for when you're comparing. Unless you're trying to tell us apart.
And then like, length
there's no difference.
We're same hair length. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, so the second comment was...
Because that's the most unhelpful thing ever, to have someone tell us apart. Let me tell you that.
The second comment was essentially, like, asking a question, like, did Ciera, like, lose a bet or something where she has to keep her hair shorter than Megan? And that one was mostly funny because it was, like, them saying, like, you guys can both have long hair. Like, Ciera, you don't have to look worse than Megan. You can both have long hair. That's how I took it, which made me laugh.
See, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised you didn't mention this one. It was typically like the same person.
The coat. Oh my God.
They kept saying, vacuum your coat, or why don't you vacuum your coat?
This was going on for months.
And it's like, it would just be like every few videos. I swear sometimes there wouldn't even be a coat in the freaking video. And
I would literally scroll through and be like, what coat are they talking about? Like, what are they looking at?
And I have no idea what it was referencing. Sometimes, like, when you get weird and, like, repetitive comments like that, I'm like, is this some sort of, like, fetish thing that, like, I don't even understand? Like, I don't understand how it would be, but, like, I am so confused. And what are they talking about? Maybe English isn't their first language, but what?
I don't know. I'm trying to, like, any other comments. There's obviously, like, really gross, like, weird ones that you just, like, delete as soon as you see them that we won't, bring attention to. But I want to, like, talk about, like, if I can think of any more specific comments that we get. I don't know. That's, like, those are two of the main ones that I can recall.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. Oh, this was not related to comments, but Megan and I did a week of workouts video a couple months ago.
Oh, I need to know the backstory and what happened, but I have no idea.
It's always tricky if you're doing, like, a fitness type of video. Sometimes you, like, want to make sure you film things, like, erring on the side of caution. Not that we would ever be purposely filming anything to, like, look or be provocative, but unfortunately there are viewers out there who will, like, see anything resembling a body and think it is, like, provocative. So, like, we did our week of workouts fairly, like, you can watch it and it's
we didn't
whatever.
see any issues or concerning things
a basic workout video. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, our videos typically get, like, 5,000 to 10,000 views on that channel, and I, like, refresh it and I, like, literally do a double take and I'm like, 27,000 views, and this was, like, a week or two after it had been posted.
Like, it, like, had a random jump.
So then I was like, uh-oh, like, what random website did we get posted on? I have no idea. There's, like, no really boosted comments.
It shows that, yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like, there's no weird comments. There's just more views, and you can see that that's particularly, like, spike was driven from an external source. But, like, we have no idea what
so you can only assume, or at least we can only assume, that it was some, like, weird website. But again, it's not a provocative video.
And
so I don't know.
Cause anyone to comment anything concerning.
Because, like, our swimsuit try-on hauls, we get some comments on those as well. And so we didn't see that same...
My favorite thing is, like, literally men. They'll be like, you need to be showing the entire swimsuit and, like, turning around so people can see the fit. How...
I love, I'm always for the girls, And,
like,
I love a swimsuit try-on haul because I like to look at swimsuits and see what they look like.
I like when other girls are also, like, they'll show the full thing. Like, I appreciate it, but, like, it's just not something that, like, I've preferred to do just given the internet.
Mm-hmm. And so we always, like, whenever we haven't done one in a couple years, I don't think. But every once in a while, if we get, like, an influx of swimsuits, we would like to do a try-on haul, or, like, sometimes we'll try a new brand out and, like, we'll want to post about that brand and, like, give our thoughts. And so typically in, like, the last couple of videos we posted of that, we haven't like done a full turnaround because the internet
we'll, like,
is
turn
weird.
to the side, maybe do a little like
You can
pop the
see
leg.
enough of the swimsuit.
You can see enough.
And
we'll
we
let
give
you
a
know if it's
disclaimer.
cheeky.
We give you a disclaimer, a verbal disclaimer saying we're not fully turning around because the internet is weird and like whatever. You can see the swimsuit plenty from the side and from the front.
All these swimsuits are on models on the website too.
Exactly. But you just get like, the comments for once in a while being like, it would be much more helpful for your fellow women viewers to see the full bikini. And it's like, Robert commented that. It's like, well, Robert, are you buying the swimsuit? I don't think this is for you. Yeah. Most of those comments, just ignore.
Someone asked, are we planning or excited to see it Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes? That comes out Thanksgiving, right?
As of right now, I'm not planning on seeing it. Mostly because I'm like, would I want to read the book first? I also don't feel like reading the book. So I just don't feel like I'm going to watch it.
I have more so been thinking like, I'm a movie person, so I like seeing movies. I don't foresee myself caring enough to read the book, honestly.
I've heard the book is great.
I've heard mixed things about the book. So I don't know. I feel like it would be good to read the book before the movie, obviously, but like at the same time, I don't really want to read the book. It's not on my list of books to read, and I feel like I would see it if it was like, I really want to see a movie right now, and like none of the other ones were like hitting, and I was like, because it looks okay in the trailers. It really
Did we
does.
say that we watched Priscilla? Oh, we didn't give an update because we recorded the podcast after.
True. It was like, I wouldn't say don't go see it, but I also wouldn't like strongly recommend. I gave it like a 6 out of 10.
It's definitely, I would say, like for the girls, obviously it was like Priscilla's, story of her life with Elvis, and then it was also like, directed by a woman, so it's going to have like more like through the lens of,
Priscilla,
a woman, and just like, I just feel like a lot of girls can be like, I relate to like certain aspects of like her story, her life.
I feel like what makes it hard to enjoy as a movie is like, it was a lot of like monotony and just kind of like, because she was so like alone and didn't like, that really comes across in the movie, but it's also just like, it's not an exciting action packed movie with a lot going on. So in that sense, there's only so much that happens in the movie.
Yeah,
but it's very well done,
like I will say
directed.
It's a short movie, like it's literally an hour and 50 minutes, but during it I was kind of like my invisible watch, I was like, how much
but me
longer
with like
we
a
have?
2.5 hour Elvis movie, I'm just like locked in.
During the movie, I don't know if I was telling you this or if I was just saying this to myself, but I was like, you could do a tandem movie watch with Priscilla and Elvis.
You could.
It'd be like two, like, whoa, is this the same story? And it's not the same story because it's Elvis's life versus Priscilla's life.
I don't know if we mentioned this in the podcast, but like we did. I was nervous about. I was like, oh my god, like I'm nervous about how this is going to impact my love for the Elvis movie. Didn't change it at all.
And this has nothing to do with Elvis
like,
the person.
Yeah,
just the movie.
It's just the movie and just my enjoyment of them.
Okay, this was someone said not Q&A but video idea for December. Top book for every month this year.
Oh,
I like that.
Podcast episode or
it'd have to be like a YouTube video. I feel like do you think we could make a full podcast about that? I don't know. My initial thought was a video idea, but we'll workshop. That wasn't really a question, so I'll find another one. How often do you wear your Apple Watch? Literally 2 times now. I wear it when I walk Vegas because right now, since I'm doing a walking challenge, I need it to track how far I'm walking, and then I wear it at work. Otherwise, I rip it off my wrist. I don't want to see it.
What's so funny is like I wear it every day to work, and like I need it at work. If I've gone like one day where I forgot to put it on, and like it was a nightmare. I was like, this is the worst day of my life because like I am constantly using it to time how long I'm with patients because that's how we bill,
and out
like
time,
how long I am like doing like standing with them or whatever else. Like I need my freaking Apple Watch. That stopwatch is always on. So when I didn't have it, yikes. But then like, and I go by my whole day, like during the workday, like not a second thought. It's my left hand man. But then I get home and I'm just like, something feels,
literally,
something's off.
Something's constricting me, and I need
and
to.
my watch needs to come off immediately.
I rip it off. I hate wearing, like, again, at work, no issues. I need it. I'm constantly looking at it. I feel like lost without it at work. I get home, get it off of me.
Like even today, I was thinking like, I just like walk through the door and it's like this has to come off right now.
So we are kind of like the opposite, I feel like, of most people with Apple Watches. Some people get really like addicted, especially when they're tracking their workouts. They're like, oh, it doesn't count if I'm
I'll
not
wear
wearing my
mine
Apple
during
Watch.
a workout if I'm like going to work out before work, but like otherwise I don't even wear it to work
I
out.
put it in my gym bag. I put it on when I'm leaving. So that's a funny one.
This one says, what do physical therapists do every day? And someone said like anecdotes, question mark. I don't really even know what anecdotes means in this context.
Like give like certain like stories of your day.
Oh.
I can walk you through my day. I saw, I think, oh gosh, how many people are on my schedule? 8 people or something. I don't know. Scheduled anywhere between a half hour to an hour. And so I typically like to start with my skilled people, my Medicare Part A's, because they have to get seen 5 times a week. And so like I need to like front load them ideally if possible, so that if I don't get to all of my Part B's or like my outpatient long-term care residents, they can always get like pushed off to like another day, since I schedule them not on a weekly basis, but on like seeing them a certain number of times within a time frame. They don't have to get seen like 3 times a week. It's just like 30 times within 90 days or something. And so I start with my skilled people. I think most of them were scheduled for like an hour today. The group that I was going to do today was 2 skilled people who then at the end of the day, when I'm about to do their group last, I get a message from my director being like, so-and-so doesn't like groups. He feels like it's not productive. Like, so don't see him in a group. And I'm like, I gotta go. So I did a full session with him and then the shorter session with someone else. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. In like for long-term care, some of my patients have dementia, so like some of that is working with safety awareness stuff, increased cueing for like, you would not believe how many times like when I'm getting someone to stand up, I'm like, scoot towards the edge of your chair, push through your armrest, lean forward, nose over your toes, and like pull your hips under your shoulders. Like it's that on repeat for a lot of patients. Sometimes it's wheelchair management if I'm wanting to like improve someone's independence with like getting around throughout the facility, even if they can walk, but they're not safe to do so unless someone is there. Are they able to like be independent at a wheelchair level where they can like wheel themselves out of the room and like go up and down the hallways? I had someone who was skilled who had surgery, and he lives on the 3rd floor of an apartment building with no elevator. So one of our goals, this is the other thing with like physical therapy, especially for like post-acute after the hospital, is that our goals can't always be set to like meet what they ideally would need to go home. So I think my long-term goal for him was like to go up and down a flight of stairs, a flight with max assist. We did technically do it with mod assist today, which is good. For PT, for assist levels, we have what's called standby assist, when you're just not holding on to them, but kind of close by for
If something
safety.
were to happen.
Contact guard assist, when you usually just like have your hand on their gait belt for like just in case. Min assist is assisting less than 25%, mod assist less than 50%, max assist less than 75%, and then if it's more than that, they're considered dependent. For a little educational lesson for you guys. And so like even though he has 3 flights of stairs to go home, like he very well might not be able to do that, and like insurance is still like cutting him off, being like, sorry, but like my goal is met, which is good, I guess. So that's the iffy side of things. But yeah, I had great productivity today. I was working 7 hours and 50 minutes. I had 46 minutes of non-treatment time.
My productivity really starts to go down when I start getting like half treatment sessions, and then I keep having to go back and forth between different people, because I, especially on like 3 days of my week, I'm primarily with like dementia patients, and like I can only sometimes redirect and motivate so much. And so today, like I just felt like I kept going back and forth, and then like I am not being as productive, but like it is what it is. So my day started, I went to a different building than I usually go to an independent living facility and do an outpatient person there who's just like being seen for like normal outpatient musculoskeletal stuff. Supposedly like trochanteric bursitis or like TFL related stuff. So I saw her, and then I went to my other building and had 6 patients there. I saw one skilled guy who was admitted last week that I did not eval, but I did a coach with the OT today. He was Hoyer because he's kind of got low motivation and he had high pain and didn't want to do a lot. But today we did try the easy stand. We stood for 52 seconds, which wasn't long enough or not where we want it to be. So our goal tomorrow is to try and get him into a recliner because he has not really been out of bed much. His goal is to go home once he's assistive 1 because his wife wants him home and is going to get home care in theory.
Okay.
But we'll see. And then all of my other people were Part Bs who, you know, what we're seeing them for kind of varies. But one person we're seeing to try and work on walking because she's got very short shuffling steps and she's usually in the wheelchair, but for short distances she can do walking. The issue is she does not always want to walk. So today I could not get her to agree to stand up and walk. So we did some different stuff and then she was tired. So then she's like, we need to go back. We're done. And then I trick her into kind of wheeling her into the hallway and say like, okay, let's go.
Off we go.
And then I make her self-propel her wheelchair, which still she kind of like, she's very like, I don't think she has a Parkinson's diagnosis, but like it's very like short shuffling, like kind of steps and like little initiation, even with like max cues. And so even like when I'm like, reach like as far as you can on that handrail to then like pull yourself forward. It's like just such little motions. And then eventually she was like, okay, I'm done. Take me back the rest of the way. I saw another person who actually does have Parkinson's, and so we're working on like staff was just having a harder time cueing her. She's doing well. We're finding some cues that work well for her. And then saw someone else who is Part B. They've just been less agreeable to do stuff with staff, but I couldn't get her to do hardly anything today. But I build my due diligence for me trying to get her to do stuff today because like I tried, but she just kept being like, no. I brought stuff back to be like, what can we do? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you want to go? Like, you're falling asleep in this chair right now. Can we get to the recliner? Like, please. No. Then, so another Part B who we're probably discharging soon. His dementia's pretty up there. So I kind of am mostly like seeing what he's agreeable to do. Mostly regarding like safety awareness. And I noticed he was like leaning a little bit more today because he walks around without an assistive device. So that was kind of a little odd, but anyways, that was my day.
Someone said, will you participate in Vlogmas this year? Heck no. There is no way we could.
It'd be a little overwhelming to do that, and by a little, like a lot. Sometimes even getting like the weekly videos up is enough.
I can ask another one. Someone said, do you ever babysit your nephew for Haley and Ashton? No.
No.
It's not that I wouldn't. It's A, I've never been asked. And B, there's a long list of people that they would rather have babysit than me that usually can.
And like, I am not dying to babysit. No offense.
Like, love him. I'm just like not a big baby person. And like, I know so many other people in my family like would love to babysit. And so like, you know, why have me who like, I, again, really never have babysat. I could, most likely. I probably could. We'll do a trial run at some point. I just feel like, you know, there's better people out there than me.
This is a fun question. What's your ideal engagement scenario?
Have
we talked about this on the podcast? Because I know we've done like our dream, like our ideal wedding or wedding things we do and don't like, even though we're like, we have no reason to talk.
I've actually thought,
you know what? Okay, we know and I apologize because this is like a common thing that people do, but we know our least favorite, least ideal engagement scenario.
No shade to anyone, but this is just our personal preference. I do not want to walk up to my engagement, as in like I'm viewing
like
the engagement
pictures
area.
Around, rose petals on the ground, candles lit,
a sign that says "Will you marry me?" Ew, I hate that. I'm not walking up to like, I'm like, this is my engagement. I'm not doing that. And whoever I think I'm going to get engaged to, like, will know that. So I hate that. I hate when there's like the little backdrop, like the floor mat on the ground, signs, pictures. I hate it. I think it looks tacky. No offense. If that's how you were engaged, that's how you want to get engaged. Sorry. It's my opinion. So ideally, I want to obviously know that I'm getting engaged. I've seen like TikTok trends of like girls being like, my boyfriend, like when he starts saying like, you should start like getting nail colors that like you wouldn't mind getting engaged in. Like I don't mind that energy of like knowing it's coming up. Obviously, like, we'll have talked about it. Hopefully, like, we'll have looked at rings and stuff together. Like I don't want it to be a surprise.
Like you shouldn't be like, you're proposing.
Yeah, but like I want it to be a surprise in the sense that like I don't really want to like know like day of. And it's hard because sometimes like girls can just like sense that he's like being weird and stuff, or like we're doing something that we don't normally do.
You're kind of like, if he were to like propose, like this could be a good time to do it.
I actually think, And this is funny because like I only really thought of this after Haley and Ashton got engaged, and like they didn't do this. So like this is no offense to them because like they didn't have to do this, but I was kind of like, oh, like because we didn't know Haley and Ashton were getting engaged until like they came and told us, which like, you know,
That's
perhaps
fine.
that is what they wanted. But I kind of like, oh, like I kind of wish that like we would have known. And so I'm like, I think now I want whoever my like future spouse will be, I want them to like have like an engagement party like set up
or like
afterwards.
because then Haley and Ashton were doing like all the rounds
Yeah.
of having to go around. Like they didn't call people. They went and like they showed up. For example, we were at our dad's house. It was like me, Ciera, and our dad. And then Haley and Ashton just like kind of walk in, and Haley's like,
I'm
just
engaged.
like,
And then they
I'm
had to go
engaged.
because they have to tell other people.
And so it kind of would have been nice in theory to like have everyone kind of like in one location, and then they were all just there to like,
yeah. And
Use-
so like that's
use
obviously
tries
something I
and-
didn't know that I wanted until like I was on like some other side of like an engagement. I'm like, oh, it would have been
and
cool
like
if we like all were
if
together.
it wasn't something that was there, like it wouldn't be like the end of the world.
Right.
I feel like I definitely, to a certain extent, like I would like a more private location.
What is your thought on like legit like private like they're like you live together and he proposes like in your living room?
It's not my favorite thought.
You know, I'm thinking about it right now, and I hate.
And
that
I don't
thought.
like thinking about it. I think it can be like there are worse ways to get engaged. But like I kind of would want it to be like
Would you rather
something a
have that,
little
or would you
more-
rather have this setup? I'd literally rather get engaged in my living room than have that setup.
I think so too.
Because then I
feel
can be like, oh, like we didn't have any pictures. Like it was just a little private moment for the two of us.
I feel like the ideal thing is like it could be like a meaningful location. It could be maybe you're on vacation, you're doing like a hike or something, or like I don't know, but like I just want it to be like a moment where we would be able to like have a moment. They could share their thoughts of like how amazing I am, how much they love me, and how they want to spend the rest of their life with me.
I was gonna say another way that I don't like to get engaged, but I don't want someone to get offended.
Well, I want to hear. Well, speak up.
Okay. I don't want to.
Ciera,
I'll tell you after.
really? You're gonna make people mad.
Well, I don't want to make someone that I know is listening to this mad.
Okay.
So, next question.
Okay. And then like, what about pictures though? Do you feel like
I
I've
do
honestly
like
gone back and
pictures.
forth. I do really
Honestly,
like,
only worry about it if it's a good photographer. If they suck, I don't care. Like, I don't want like
Ciera and I just saw a TikTok where like this woman got like her and her fiance husband, they like eloped, went to the courthouse, and then like had like a little at home celebration photo shoot, and like the photographer was amazing. They did an incredible job, and like it looked better than like 60% of wedding photos you see, just because of like the aesthetic that they
and it's
had.
like that's how you know it's like the photographer to me is so much more important than like
most
the actual
important.
wedding.
Most important piece.
It's not about the actual experience, it's about how you photograph it and how it looks to everyone else. Is what I'm saying.
I can ask another question. What's your Roman Empire?
I've seen so many
Recently?
people. I'm getting annoyed with this trend, if I'm being honest, because
I-
people are like, this is what I think about a lot, and I know that's the trend, but like we get it.
My Roman Empire right now is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
That's probably accurate.
All right, well, we are going to have to cut this episode short because we got places to be, but this was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Q&A, and we can, of course, do more in the future if you feel like we didn't get to a whole lot of questions, because we probably didn't get to all of them. But we will talk to you guys next Thursday. Bye.